She was attending that court case a bit earlier on, Slindelo. So how did the proceedings go? What transpired in this particular case today?
Well, today it was quite a brief appearance to us in court. Last week, the matter was postponed so the suspect could acquire legal representation, and that was in the form of legal aid. Now, it took a while for the case to get started because the legal aid representative had some matters to take care of at home before the suspect could appear. But once the matter was called on the court roll, the magistrate then first dealt with the media application in order to be able to take the proceedings in court and film them. And of course, the suspect had opposed the bail application, but the reasons that he gave were not good enough for the magistrate to object to our media application, and so it was granted. As you would know, that Section 16 of the Constitution does not only protect freedom of speech, but it protects the right for media to be able to broadcast matters of public interest. So what we saw today was another postponement in the matter. It will be resuming on Thursday for a bail application. And in court, in fact, we had Dalingozi's friends who came on behalf of the family who's in the Eastern Cape, just to be able to keep them abreast on what's happening regarding the matter. And speaking to their friends, we found out that in fact today would have been Dalingozi's 32nd birthday, and instead of the family, celebrating Dalingozi's 32nd birthday, we have them now dealing with this matter.
An absolutely heavy burden for the family to bear. Slindelo, what were some of the things that they were sharing with you about Dalingozi?
Just she was a bubbly person who loved life. She was here in Johannesburg on work. Majority of her family is in the Eastern Cape. Really speaking about how they didn't know the suspect very well. This relationship was quite new, only 2 months old, only to find out that, this was going to happen to Dalingozi. Speaking about how they're really going to miss her. Her family is devastated. They are preparing funeral arrangements. They were waiting for the forensic pathology report to be finalized, and that's been done. So the best friend was just telling us that the family is in autopilot mode. They're just going through the motions, trying to get through this period, which is obviously very, very difficult for them. They are going to lay their daughter to rest this weekend on Saturday in Ngcobo.
In terms of the procedure of the case itself, Slindelo, where are we? I hear you talking about the possibility of a bail application. Do we know if the state will be opposing bail if and when that is brought forward?
Most certainly. So we know that, of course, that the bail application is scheduled for the 8th of November, and the state did make it clear today that they would be opposing bail. The suspect, Mkhotobane, is facing a Schedule 6 charge of premeditated murder and arson, and as you would know, that carries a minimum of around life. And the onus really will be on the suspect to prove why he should get bail, but the state saying that they are opposing this bail application because he is a flight risk. If you remember, after the death of Dalingozi, the police had to launch a manhunt for the suspect, who was found in his hometown of Mokopane in Limpopo. So due to those reasons, the state will definitely be opposing bail.
And this comes, just, it happened in the same week that the country was focusing the spotlight on gender-based violence and trying to find solutions there. I'm just wondering, in terms of the interest outside and also the pressure for something to give in as far as the system is concerned to protect women in this country.
Certainly, certainly. We were also about 2 weeks away or so where the country is supposed to recognize the 16 days of activism campaign against gender-based violence. We're also dealing with another matter in Indonesia, the Vlakfontein matters, the Vlakfontein murders. So this is really shining, once again, a spotlight on the issue around gender-based violence. The numbers around femicide in this country are continuing to rise. A case like Dalingozi's is not something special or new. You know, this country is on a daily basis hearing such harrowing stories. At that GBV summit last week convened by the presidency, we heard some of those stories, which are very painful to say the least. And I think looking on social media, we're seeing a lot of comparisons being drawn between this case and the case of Karabo Mokoena. If you remember last year, where her ex-boyfriend did a similar thing and he was convicted to around 32 years in prison. So once again, we have this case shining a spotlight on the issues that women are facing. The friends of Dalingozi were actually saying to me that it's really sad that women can't feel safe not only walking in the street, but you can't feel safe with somebody that you share a home with, somebody that you share a bed with. Women are seemingly living in constant fear in this country.
Certainly, Slindelo Masikane, your statement that this is nothing new in this country is sadly true. It's a sad reflection of the state we're in. ENCA's Slindelo Masikane updating us on that particular court case that has taken place here in Johannesburg.